If you're struggling to grow your Instagram account, there's a few statistics in particular that you should be paying attention to. Now, of course, for most of us, we're quite often concerned with our follower counts and our likes on each of our posts. But they're not the only indicators, and they're not even the main indicators to see positive signs of growth on your Instagram account. So in today's video, I'm going to be talking about 3 statistics in particular that you should be paying attention to if you really want to grow your Instagram account. And for those of you out there who feel like you've hit a wall with Instagram and you're not progressing, hopefully this video will be for you. But before we get into the video today, I should probably introduce myself. My name is Kaylee June, and I'm a beauty and fashion photographer based near Sydney, Australia, but I'm also a content creator, and I started this channel a few years ago to talk about all things business, social media, freelancing, and content creation. And for those of you who haven't seen my videos before, I've actually talked about this point quite a lot on my channel, but I do have several Instagram accounts that I am currently running, and I have several brands that I essentially run as a content creator. So I have this channel, which is all about business and lifestyle for creatives. Then I've also got my photography and retouching channel, which I've had for over 10 years now. And I also have a travel vlogging channel with my husband, Dan. So I actually have an Instagram account associated with each of those YouTube channels as well. So I feel like I've been on Instagram long enough to know some of the positive signs of growth and what is really helpful to be looking at in terms of statistics to make sure you're kind of on the right track. And for me, this started to become really obvious when I actually was trying to grow my travel account even a couple of years ago, and started from scratch with that one to kind of try and grow it as much as I could in a fairly short amount of time too. I actually posted every day for 6 months to Reels during that time, and I can honestly say that even from that experiment, I learned a lot from that, and definitely since then. So let's jump into the first statistic that I think is really important if you want to continue growing your Instagram and you really want to have that indication of whether things are working on your posts. And that first statistic is saves. I personally feel like hands down this is one of the most important statistics that you should be looking at on Instagram, and unfortunately it's not really one that's easily spotted. You actually have to go into your insights and find how many people have actually saved your post. This has also been confirmed by Instagram and different social media studies out there that saves is such an important statistic. So it is definitely something that I don't really understand why it's kind of like hidden away in terms of it being so important. But if you start tracking the saves that are made on your posts, you'll start to see what kind of content is really valuable to your viewers. I feel like I started to notice very early on when I had the experiment of posting every day to Instagram over 6 months. I found the more people that were saving certain reels, those particular reels were doing a lot better and performing a lot better overall compared to other content. It's almost like a bit of a trigger for the Instagram algorithm to say, hey, people are finding this particular post really valuable, so let's push it out to even more people. And as I mentioned, the performance overall of those reels were doing a lot better, especially with the more saves that I was getting. And I found that I was definitely getting a lot more eyes and views on those particular reels. Even engagement in particular tended to be higher on those particular reels as well. And as I said, it became very obvious to me the more reels that were getting more saves, the better my account was performing overall. And as I said, the one thing I think to really remember with saves is that it's signaling to Instagram that your content is valuable to people. They're finding it valuable enough to save it for later so they can come back to your post. And personally, I find this to be a much more valuable indicator of potential growth in future or potential success with certain pieces of content on Instagram, rather than just relying on the like count, for example. With likes in particular, people are going to be far less likely to actually go back to your post just because they've liked it. Quite often, liking a post just means kind of double tapping as they're kind of scrolling through Instagram, and a lot of the time it can be done really quickly and without much thought behind it. But I know personally, even when I'm saving a post on Instagram, my intention is to go back to it later on. And realistically, the reason I've saved it is because it's valuable to me. So one of the ways you can try and get more saves on your content for Instagram is actually by just simply making it more valuable. Thinking about, does this post maybe educate someone on a certain topic? Maybe it's a list of recommendations, maybe it's a particular recipe. It all depends on your niche and what is considered valuable within your niche. For example, me as a photographer, I could potentially do a reel like my top 5 cameras for beginners, and that could be something that a lot of people would save and come back to when they're ready to purchase maybe their first camera if they're an aspiring photographer. I know for my travel account, it really helps to name particular places when I visit certain countries that I feel are must-sees, or even particular activities I've done while I've been in that place. I find that having that kind of content that has more lists and is kind of a little bit more educational tend to be more likely to be saved rather than just the pretty aesthetic reels that maybe I've made in the past. So it's definitely something to remember if you really want to try and get more saves on your content. Now, the next statistic I'm actually going to talk about is a little bit different in the sense that you can't actually find this statistic on Instagram. This is because it's kind of a combination of other statistics that kind of have to be put through a formula so you can find out this particular statistic, if that makes sense. And the stat that I'm actually talking about on different pieces of content is your engagement rate. An engagement rate is a really good indicator to see how engaged people are with your posts. But as I said, it is not something that is readily available on Instagram, and one of the ways that I really like to find out the engagement rate on all of my posts is by using Metrical. I'm also really happy to announce that Metrical is the sponsor for today's video. So if you've watched my videos before, you may be familiar with Metrical already, and you'll know that I love utilizing their platform. Metrical is an all-in-one social media analytics site and scheduling platform. As I mentioned, through Metrical, you can find out so many different in-depth analytics from your social media posts that you can't necessarily find through those social media sites. So if you're really looking to keep track of your analytics on Instagram, using Metrical is a great first step. And one really cool feature in particular that I do want to mention with Metrical is that they have a competitor analysis feature. This is where you can enter any public handle and see statistics like top performing content and analytics. So if you're struggling, for example, to know what kind of content is going to be more valuable and may actually assist in your Instagram growth, looking at some other competitors in your own niche will be a really good starting point to actually see what's working for them and what could potentially work for you as well. It's a great way to see different benchmarks within your own niche and kind of narrow down that type of content that could be performing well. As I mentioned, I also love to be able to find out my engagement rates for different pieces of content via Metrical. So all of those statistics are listed within the analytics section, and you can go in and find out a detailed engagement rate for each piece of content that you post. The Metrical interface makes it really easy for you to decode a lot of these statistics and to analyze everything, which is great. And especially if you've got more than one social media site, it's the perfect all-in-one system. Now that's the analytics side of Metrical, but there is also a scheduler, like I mentioned before. And this is where you can plan all of your content out days, weeks, or months in advance. So I really love to utilize the scheduler and make sure I'm on top of all of my content ahead of time. And there's also some incredible features that Metrical actually has embedded into their scheduling system. Just some of these features are the hashtag search and save text function, where you can basically search for all the most popular hashtags or the best ones to use for your posts and then basically enter them into the save texts for later. This means you don't have to find and type out a bunch of hashtags every time you want to generate a new post. You can enter them in with just one click. Another feature that I really love with the scheduler is the AI assistant, and this can really help you out with any caption writing. And I've actually shown this on my channel before numerous times, but I really love the caption assistant here because I find that captions are the bane of my existence. I don't enjoy doing them. I feel like there's not a lot of people who do enjoy doing them, so just kind of getting that prompt or that little bit of assistance along the way for this can really make all the difference when scheduling your posts. So if you're ready to track your stats in depth and get on top of your content this year, definitely go and check out Metrical. If you're interested in trying it out, make sure to click the link in the description box below and use the code Kaylee for 30 free days off any paid plan. A huge thank you again to Metrical for sponsoring this video. And again, making sure you've got an idea of your engagement rate on your posts is really going to tell you how engaged people are with your posts. And again, this combination of statistics in an engagement rate really indicates to Instagram once again that your content is valuable, and hopefully the platform is going to push that out even further. Knowing your engagement rates on posts are actually really important for brand partnerships too. And you'll find that quite often if you do get approached by different brands on Instagram for collaborations or sponsored posts, they'll be really interested to know what your engagement rate is. So that's also something to keep in mind for potential growth on Instagram in future. And now let's chat about the third and final statistic that I find is really important for tracking growth on Instagram. And that statistic is shares. Now, shares are quite similar to saves in the way that Instagram kind of analyzes it as a statistic. And again, it is showing Instagram's algorithm that your content is valuable the more shares that you have on a post. So if you really think about when you click share on something that you've seen seen online or a piece of content, it's valuable to you in some particular way, or it may be valuable to someone else. So not only are you seeing it and you're seeing it's valuable enough to share it with someone else or to your own social accounts, but you're potentially bringing other people into that content by sharing it to them. So this is why Instagram is basically seeing it again as something that is valuable and as something potentially that the algorithm will push out even further. Shares, I also think, are one of the hardest statistics to kind of get growing as well, because you really have to make it so valuable to the point, like I said, that people are either going to post this and share it to another social media site or their own Instagrams or to someone in particular that they want to share the content with. And that kind of requires a little bit more effort than just double clicking a post and liking it, or even leaving a short comment, or even saving it. So although they are a very good indicator of growth and valuable content on Instagram, I do find they are that little bit more difficult to kind of get in terms of a statistic. But the more you pay attention to shares on your post, once again, this is something that I found out very quickly when I was posting every day for 6 months. The more pieces of content that had a lot of saves or had a lot of shares, I found that content to start performing really well. And this is when things would start to snowball a lot with views and even different types of engagement on the posts. So I definitely feel that saves and shares are kind of at the core of these statistics that you should be really paying attention to. And in turn, you might find that your engagement rate really improves with both of these statistics as well, because the algorithm is pushing the content out further and there may be more eyes on your work overall. As I said, the situation that's come across numerous times when I've been posting daily or when I've been posting a lot to Instagram, if I've had a lot of saves or if I've had a lot of shares, I've found the engagement to kind of snowball and everything else to kind of snowball, especially in terms of views. So it's definitely something to remember if you're really struggling to grow with your Instagram account and you want that kind of valuable content to really get pushed out even further. Keep all of these statistics that I've spoken about today at the forefront of your mind and really pay attention to them when you're trying to track the success or growth of your content on Instagram. Well, thank you so much for watching this video today, and if you liked it, please give it a thumbs up, and if you haven't subscribed to my channel already, make sure you do, because I'll be posting a lot more videos like this one. I really hope this video was helpful for you and hopefully it was valuable for you. I know that this has taken me a little while to understand some of the statistics that I should be paying attention to, maybe more so on Instagram rather than just followers and like counts. But I would love to hear all of your thoughts down in the comments below. Let me know if you found the same thing to be true with your own account and whether you found that saves and shares have really made a difference in performance of your content, because that's definitely something I found with my own content, and it's definitely something that aligns with a lot of studies that have been done with Instagram and specific statistics. It's something to really pay attention to. Another quick reminder, if you do want to go and check out Metrical, make sure to click the link in the description box below and use the code Kaylee for 30 free days off any paid plan. Make sure to hit the notification bell to see all the updates from my channel in future. But thank you so much as always for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.